How does a small island nation, an island with no land borders and a population of almost 300,000 people, stay still when the global economy starts to shake? That is a question for Barbados, but honestly, is a question for anyone, anywhere who feels like the world is moving too fast for their wallet to keep up. I said I was taking a break. I said I needed to step back from long-form content to recharge, and I mean that. But unfortunately, the whole world does not stop because of your hiatus. Between the headlines about the war zones and the realities of grocery receipts, there are things happening right now that I cannot, in good conscience, scroll past without having a conversation. So, I'm breaking my own break because this is Baj's story. And the reality check starts right now. Let me call it Baj's story. I know the Bajan brand of pragmatics seen it all skepticism. We here prepare for the global crisis. And we say,
Zanagoi Airy Fairy Poi.
I hear you. But I'm not the only one saying this. The Barbados Chamber of Commerce released an official statement regarding the instability in the Middle East. They said, "This is not a moment for panic, but it is a moment for preparation. We are monitoring the risk to shipping routes and the subsequent pressure on local price stability." When the business community, right, the people who manage our supply chains, tell we that we need to pay attention to price stability, that is not hysteria. That is actually a roadmap that we should be paying attention to. Here's the data. CARICOM imports between 60 to 80% of its food. That's a $6 billion bill every single year. And right now, the Barbados Agricultural Society, the BAS, is sounding the alarm. On April 1st, they stated, "Farmers are wary of the Middle East war dividing up prices. We are keeping a close watch on the rising cost of inputs like feed and fertilizer." Barbados Today put it even more bluntly this week. Barbadians could expect higher food prices within months, not years. We don't just sit back and lay back and wait. Within months. When the US shifts its tariff policies and the shipping lanes get congested, the cost of that box at Massey don't just go up, It reflects a global struggle for resources. If you are not watching your food security now, you are choosing to be surprised later. Now, do you really want that? It's not just the food. It's the energy that brings the food to Barbados. The UN's trade and development body, UNCTAD, released a report 3 days ago on the Strait of Hormuz. They said, Hormuz disruption deepens global economic strain. Fuel prices have skyrocketed and remain elevated, raising population expenses and pushing up the cost of living. For Barbados, which is 85% dependent on imported fuel, this is a direct hit. When the fuel prices soar, your electricity bill follows. Your freight follows too. Everything is connected. We aren't just an island. We are a node in the global network. And when that network catches a cold, Barbados does get the fever. I'm contagious for so. So before I get to my questions for winner, and I do have a few questions, I want to take a second to thank you for being here. And I know that a lot of winner just watch every single video and you just engage in the comments, but you ain't really subscribed yet. Now have you? Go and check now. You subscribe? Alright then, if you value this kind of conversation about we Baj's story and what going on with we, anything that connects with we that will really affect we, and if you want to see Bajan culture and current events treated with this kind of research and context, hit subscribe. It only takes 2 seconds and I'm free. But seriously, it genuinely helps this channel to keep going. Alright, now we gotta talk about the diaspora. So my fellow Bajans in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and across the globe. The CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank, actually released a sobering outlook on March the 3rd, and they projected modest growth for 2026, but warned that global uncertainty is tempering our prospects. So, if things get harder back on the rock, what is our role in this? We send the barrels and we send the money, but are we really having serious conversations with our families back home about Plan B? Because home doesn't stop being home when the global economy gets difficult. You know that. We Bajans need to be prepared in London, New York, across the globe, and in Barbados. Full stop. This is not a doom video. So please, get that thought out of your head right now. The 2026 Barbados budget has already carved out specific plans for food security and green energy. The government is actually doing something. The business community is doing something. The question is, are we as a whole, like the general everyday person, doing something? Preparation isn't about building a bunker, is something in the movies. It's about looking at your bills and understanding your household needs and budgeting and seeing what you may need just in case. Also, it's having an open and honest conversation with your family and your neighbors and your loved ones. This isn't an airy fairy thing. This is about having a little common sense and just being Bajan, being practical and prepared and proud like we ancestors. So here are the questions. I got 2 for 1 today. Listen to this carefully. If the shelves got thin for just 2 weeks, and we've seen it happen during hurricanes, we've seen it happen during the pandemic and all of that, are you honestly prepared right now? I want you to stop right now, tell me in the comment section, and come right back for the second question. Number 2. For the diaspora, how has your conversation with home changed since these global prices started to spike? I've been having my own conversations with home. I am very thankful that my kids are the kind that are very abreast with what is going on and like to think ahead. What about your family? Those in Barbados, are you starting that conversation with your loved ones over and away? Drop it in the comment section because I can take a look. Remember, we are all a part of We Baj story. And listen, recently, I did get a comment right from somebody who seemed to think that we only supposed to be yet again focusing on the present and the future. But guess what? The present lasts for a fleeting moment when you think of it. What I said literally a second ago is now the past. Every single thing that has happened in the past is now affecting us today and in the future. So the decisions that we make in times like these, instead of pretending as if they're not existing or pretending as if someone else is going to deal with it, the decisions that we can make for ourselves right now could all go well for us in the future or do otherwise. It's just like how the decisions that we've made in the past, in the far distant past, and just the other day, I mean, look at your situation right now and that of the world. You see what I'm saying? Listen, remember, respect and revive. I'm Sana Monique, and this is Let Me Call It We Baj Story.